Today's lesson is on systems of linear inequalities. So you've done linear inequalities before, you've done both in one variable and two. A system just means two or more. Most of these, if not all of them, are two. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to graph them, and we're going to get solutions from it. All right, so remember that when you're doing a linear inequality, you're not going to get just one answer. You're going to get a range of answers. So, like when you're doing one variable, you had a number line, you did an open circle or closed circle, and you went either to the left or to the right. So you had lots of different answers to choose from. You had a starter number, yes, but then you could go off in either the left or the right, depending on if it's greater than or less than, and so on and so forth. Well, this works the same way, except that, again, just recalling from your last lesson on inequalities, you're going to draw a line and then you're going to shade. So since graphing we didn't spend a lot of time on, because again you're on your own on these lessons, I'm going to put them in DESMOS. So DESMOS is off to the left here, and we're going to put in our lines. So again, if your graphing isn't so hot, the DESMOS will definitely help you. All right, so first thing I would do if your graphing isn't great is I would not type in the inequality. I would just put in equals. So I'm going to put in equals, and again, you can skip this part if your graphing is pretty good. If it's not, then you want to do it this way so you can see clearly where the line is. All right, so I can see clearly where my line is, and now all I have to do is read. Again, it only takes 2 points to make a line. So this point I can read here, all right, and then I could read this one here, it looks like. Let's see what that is. That is, let's see, where is it actually hit? That's the hard part. Let's see. Oh, here's one. I think this one's one. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so that's one as well. See how it comes out nice and neat and pretty? Okay, so how far did I travel? I've traveled down 2 and over 3, but it doesn't really matter. I can, as long as I get 1 point, I can travel the slope, if you remember to do that. If not, you can just count boxes and you just need 2 points. So I'm going to pick this one, and I'm going to actually put it in here just so you can see it. And you can do this as well, just so you can see it. And then the other one was, what did we say it was? -3? Yes. Again, this is only if you are not a great grapher. Okay, so again, this I can put on here. So I'm going to take -1, 1, put that in, and then I'm going to -3, or pardon me, 3, -3, which is right here. Now, before I draw a line, I have to recall, what does the symbol tell me? Now, remember, if you were doing it on a number line, if this was greater than or less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you would put a closed dot and shade whatever direction. This is the same idea. Since I'm allowed to be equal to the line, then I'm allowed to make what's over here on the left. I'm allowed to make that line. So I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can find myself a straight edge of some sort. Let's see. Okay, so I guess let me turn it a little bit so I can get my line drawn. And again, because it is equal to, I'm going to, hopefully I made that. Yep. I make a solid line. If it is not, then I would do a dashed line. Okay, so now I have that, but I need to know how to shade. So I'm going to cancel these two out. I'll go back over here and change this symbol to a less than or equal to, match the symbol that's there. You'll have to go down here to your little keyboard and find the one that matches it, which is right here. And if you notice now, it shades it for you. So what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of scribble a little shade in there. All right. Okay, so that's one. So now we're just going to repeat the process for the second one. I'm going to turn this one off for now so I don't have to look at it. And see how I did that? I just click the dot. I can turn it on and off. You'll want to do that as you're graphing because it's less busy that way. All right, so I'm going to type in the next one. Y equals. Again, I'm doing that just to get my line drawn. If you're good at that, you can skip this part, graph it, and then just put it in just so you can see what the shading is. All right, so let me hide this. You can see this. All right, so it looks like 0, -8's one of them, and maybe this one. I can't. Yeah, maybe that one. Let's see. 2, -7. Okay, 2, -7. 2, -7. 2, -7. And again, also keep in mind your graph paper that's on your assignment is not huge either. So keep in mind that I think you can only go up to like 8 or 10. I think it's only 8, so you don't want to go too far on that. 0, -8. Okay. All right, so I got those 2 points. I can see them now, and I'm just going to copy that here. So I'm going to go to 0, -8, which looks like it's all the way down here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm all the way at the bottom here. Put my first point here, and then my second point is 2, -7, which is right there. Now, again, I'm going to go back and get rid of these. I don't need them anymore. Go back up here and change this to a greater than or equal to. So I got to click my keyboard down here and do greater than. And I can see it's shaded above the line. So here's my line. First of all, it's solid. I forgot to mention that because again, you don't say, you do say equal to. So this is going to be solid. And I'm going to shade upwards. So I'm kind of doing this. Okay, so where do you see your scribble in both places, both lines? It's right in here. So your final answer, you're going to put a big fat S in there to say that that's your final shade. Okay, so it's where this line shaded this way and this line shaded that way. Again, you'll see it. I'm going to go and if you're not sure where that is, your DESMOS, remember, we just have this turned off. If I turn it back on, you can see, if I zoom out just a hair, where that shade, that final shade is exactly where I have it. Okay, it's like right here. Okay, so this would be the S right here. And that's how you do these. So what's nice about DESMOS is you don't have to put them in any particular form. You can put them in any you can type it in any way. I mean, like, you don't have to change. Nice thing is you don't even have to change it into y equals mx plus b. If you're doing it this method where you're just seeking points and then to help you make the line, then there's really, it's a lot faster. Back in the old days, we used to have to put this into y equals mx plus b. So we can have the point to start off and then moving the slope and whatever, but DESMOS does all the work for you. So all you really need to do is plug it in, but I want it accurately put on here, so that's why I was having you do what I was doing. All right, so again, you're just looking for points. So let's go and do number 2. All right, let's do the easy one. Y is greater than a -7 is a horizontal line. So I go down and so see how it doesn't have both letters? Remember, if it doesn't have both letters, both X and Y, it does not have a slant. So it's either one of these, which is horizontal line, or one of these, which is vertical line. This is a Y equals line, and this is an X equals line. Okay, so when you get one of those without both letters, you shouldn't have any slant in any of your lines. You should have no slopes. All right, so this y equal one is down here at -7. Okay, so I'm going to put a dot on -7. I'm going to draw my line, which is horizontal. It doesn't say equal to, so in this case, I'm making what's called a dashed line. Whoops, I think I missed. All right, so now it's dashed, meaning I can go all the way up to the line, but I can't include it. Just like when you did open dots, you could go all the way up to the open dot, but you can't actually step on the open dot. Same idea. And it's greater than, so if you're not sure which direction that goes, which you can probably guess which direction it would go, but if you're not sure, you can actually just type in y is greater than -7. Even again, if you didn't have any knowledge about the horizontal and vertical stuff, look, you can see it right here and see that that's exactly what I have going on here. All right, so it's down here at -7, and in fact, if you don't hover on the point, it actually puts it there for you, and then you get the you shade up. So in this case, I'm shading up. You don't have to be fancy about it. Just show me you've shaded. Now I'll go back up and do the first one. Okay, so again, I'm going to go and I'm going to put the line in. Y equals 3/4 x minus 4. And again, just to recap, you can actually, this one, you can see that it always marks what's called the intercepts. If it crosses both x and the y, it puts a point there. This one's nice, this one's not so nice, but I can use this one. All right, so I'm going to plot that first point, 0, -4, which is right here. And if you remember about slope, you can say, well, I got to go up 3 and over 4. This is the quickest way to do it when it's in this thing. But if you're, again, you don't see that, you can kind of zoom in a little bit if you need to. See where it hits the graph paper like perfectly. It looks like it hits it right there, and it does. So 4, -1 is my other point. So 4, -1. 4, -1 is right there. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, -1. It's right there. Okay, and again, this is a equal to. Again, if you're not sure, go back up here, change this inequality symbol to less than, and you can see what's going on. You can see that it's a solid line, and you're shading down. So I make my solid line. Hey, that was pretty good freehanded. And then you're shading down this time. Okay, so let me put both things in. I should have left the other one up there while I had it, but I didn't. So this is greater than or equal, oh no, just greater than -7. And you can see where the overlap is. Okay, where it's the darkest, that's where both colors overlap, which is right here, and you put a big S. And that's how you do these. So like I said, you don't have to put them in y equals mx plus b. Just find 2 points that are on the graph. Put the points on the graph, and then decide whether or not it's a solid line or dashed line. So that's what I would do here. These would both be dashed lines because there's no equal to's. This one would be 2 solid lines. This one would be both dashed lines. This one would be both dash lines, so on. So it's not too bad. DESMOS really does help a lot. All right, so how do you do a question like this? This was a question that was was probably an SOL question. Click all that applies. So all you have to do using DESMOS is type these 2 in. X minus 6y is greater than -48. And then I'm going to, since I'm not graphing it, I don't care about hiding anything, reading any point. All right. Now, if you are, let's see, less than 9. Okay, so here's where my solution is right here, the darkest thing in here. So what you could do, if you're really, really, really horrible at reading points, you can literally type each one of these points and see if it falls into this gray area here. So let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it better. All right, that's all you care about. So you could, if you were horrible at points, you could put in 1, 1. Okay, so here's 1, 1, just to give you an example. Okay, look, 1, 1, is it in the darkest part? Yes, so you would check that off. Let me do 9, -2. Oops. Okay, you see how this dot is not in the darker, so you would not check this off. And you go through the process. Or you can just read points. And you could just, if you're good at reading points and you know where to plot these points, you just see if it falls in this area. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, check it. If it doesn't, leave it open. So that's what they mean by solutions. Solutions mean they are the points that fall into that darker shaded area. Okay? All right, so let's go on to word problems. They look scary. They're not so bad. Understand that when you're doing these types of problems, I'm going to see if I can let's see, I'm gonna leave it. I'll just leave it side by side. All right, so it says here to raise money to attend Boy Scout camp, Alec is selling popcorn. Small bags of popcorn sell for $4, and large bags sell for $6. He needs to earn at least $300 to attend camp. He also, let's see, he also wants to earn a badge if he sells at least 60 bags total of any combination. All right, so we have two things going on here. First of all, if you could name the two things, that's your X and your Y. Usually the first thing listed, I always make my X. Second thing listed, I always make my Y. So the first thing I see listed is small bags of popcorn. So I'm going to make that X. And that way the larges are now Y. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a Y. All right, so my first equation is always the different rates, and I talked about that in the previous lesson. So the rate here is $4 for every small bag of popcorn. All right, so the first thing I'm going to put down here is 4x plus I am spending $6 for every large bag, and he wants to make at least $300. So this amount added together has to be greater than or equal to 300. All right, so that's my first equation. The other thing is, in order for him to earn that badge, he has to sell at least 60 bags in total. So remember that X and Y are the number of bags. So X, the number of small bags, plus the number of large bags, have to be at least. So that means it has to be greater than or equal to 60 bags. Okay, so this first one is generating money. Okay, $300, $6, $4. The second one is just strictly dealing with the number of items. The number of small bags, the number of large bags has to be bigger or equal to 60. Right? So we're going to put both of those in DESMOS, and then it says pick, I get to choose any two possible combinations. So basically when I get this shading like similar to this one, all I have to do is pick a couple points in here and I got it. All right, so let's put those in. So let's put those two equations in. All right. Okay, so the first one is 4x plus 6y is greater than or equal to, got my handy dandy thing down here, 300. All right, that's one, and we don't see it because those numbers are quite large, so they're off the screen temporarily. Greater than equal to 60. All right, so I'm gonna have to zoom out and kind of move around here. All right, so I'm looking for where the shading is overlapped, and I can tell it's right here. So all I have to do is pick anything, just like in our last lesson, where all I have to do is pick something in here. Like I could pick an easy one, like you see how this 60 and 60? That means I could have 60 small and 60 large. That could be one answer. I could pick, let's see, here, or like even this point. So let me put the 60 in so you can see what I was talking about. 60, comma 60. Let's see, where did it show? Did it show up? Oh, why? Oh, because I have a point there, not I. Come on. There we go. There's one. Okay, and then all I have to do is pick another one. So let me pick, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be anything, literally anything in this area. So let's do 40, 80. Okay, 40, 80. Why do I keep hitting decimals? I just are messed up today. Here's my other one. So these 2 points are just inside the shaded area. So down here, I would put down here 40 smalls and 80 large. Okay, so you can tell that there's a lot of answers that you could possibly put for part B here. I would have to literally check every one of you guys when you're giving me. I have to check to make sure that that's in that shaded area. All right. Okay, so let's do the next one. And some of these are very similar to what you did in the last lesson. So I'm going to do this one more problem, and then I think that's it. All right, so let's do this again. Okay, Greg needs at least $1.60 in stamps to mail a package. He has 28-cent stamps and 4-cent stamps. He can use no more than 24-cent stamps, as he only has one book left. Okay, that means that a book of stamps when you buy them. I don't know if you've bought stamps, but a book of stamps only comes 20 stamps in a book. They're a tiny, tiny little book. Sometimes they're stickers now, but you get 20 when you buy a book of stamps. All right, so he can only spend at most 20 of them. All right, so how does this work? Well, first of all, I'm going to decide that my 28-cent stamps, against this was listed first, are going to be my X's, and my 4 stamps are going to be my Y's. 4-cent stamps. Okay, so now it says I need to generate at least $1.60 to mail a package. All right, so that means I'm going to do, since I've got this in dollars and cents, I'm going to put this, instead of cents, I'm going to put this as a 0.28, like you would see money. So this would be 0.28 times X plus 4 cents is 0.04. Now, if you don't want to do that, fine. If you want to leave this as cents, that's fine, but then you have to change this to 160 cents. Okay, so if you don't want to change these to decimals because decimals just frighten you, that's fine. Just make sure this is in cents. This is in dollars right now. You'd have to change it to 160 cents if you wanted to do it that way. I'm choosing to change it to dollars, so that's what I've done. This is 0.28 of a dollar. This is 0.04, which is 4 cents of a dollar. Okay, and he needs at least, so that means it's greater than or equal to $1.60. Okay, that's one of my things. And then my next thing is he can't spend any more than 20 stamps. Well, my 4-cent stamps are Y, so that means Y he can use no more than, that means less than. So he can only use less than or equal to 20. Again, remember when it doesn't have dollars attached to it, it's amounts, numbers. He can only use at most or no more than 20 stamps. So that's what I've put here. This Y, remember, means 4-cent stamps. He has to use 20 or less. That's what this means. All right, so I'm going to put both of those in and see what kind of answers I'm going to generate. All right, so first one I'm going to put in is the 0.28. X, I need both hands, so I'm going to let that slide a little bit. Plus 0.04y is greater than or equal to 160. Okay, that's my first equation. And again, it looks like the whole screen's covered, but it's only because I'm zoomed in. And then y has to be less than 20. Okay, so I zoom out a little bit so I can see what's going on. All right, so the darkest part is in here. Keep in mind and be careful that you cannot go into the negatives. See how this is going into the negatives down here? Be careful. You cannot go into the negatives because we're talking about amounts of stamps. So you really don't have a lot to choose from. You have this tiny little band right in here. Let me just put in y is greater than or equal to 0, just so you can, that's staying above the x. All right, so you see where everything overlaps? That's pretty much what you get to choose from. So it's not, and again, I'm going to zoom in so you have more selection. So even though it looked like we didn't have a lot to choose from, we do have quite a bit. We just want to, so now I have some choices. So I could pick, and again, I put that y is greater than or equal to 0 to remind myself not to go into the negatives. Okay, y can't go into the negatives. All right, so I pick anything. So I could pick 2010 if I want to. What is my problem today? Oh, that's the issue. It's my commas and points. Oh, I guess that's right. Oh, it's showing up. Okay, 2010, and then let's pick another one. 40. What is this? Oh, actually, I can just do this. 40. What's this right here? I guess I can't. Let's try. I guess it could be anything. 40, 40, and 5. There you go. Whoops. Jeez. 40 and 5 works. Okay, so I can do that one. So I did 20 and 10 and 40 and 5. So down here, again, I would write, remember who's who. So I would say the first one would be 28-cent stamps. And let's see, looking at my ordered pair, I got 10 4-cent stamps. Okay, that's one option. Or I could have picked 40 28-cent stamps and 5 4-cent stamps. Okay, so I could have picked either one of them. Either one of these is possible answers in order for him to know the package. Okay, all right, and that's it. So when we get to linear programming, which is the next unit, there's even more what's called constraints, more of these inequalities that I have to put in that makes your answers even more specific, not just guesses. Like right here, you have tons and tons of choices to pick from. When you do what's called linear programming, your choices are going to be quite small, which is easier for you. You just name intersections and bam, you got it. All right, so that's the next unit. Good luck with what you got to do. Bye.